welcome to XReality podcast. I'm the host, Dominic Wu, and beside me is our guest today, Philip. Hey, Philip, could you share a little bit about your background with us?
Yes. Hello, Dominic. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here in your podcast. Regarding myself, I'm a very passionate software engineer. So I do since actually I'm 14 years old when I discovered a computer that my neighbor owned, and I was immediately intrigued by it. And of course, I started like everybody else playing computer games and doing things like that. But but after really, after a few maybe months, I wanted to know what else can you do with the computer. And I looked at the manual because there was a manual part of this Commodore 64 computer, and and it and here you saw actually how you can do a program. And at that time, it was in BASIC. So I really started to code, and I noticed it's working, and it's a lot of fun, even more fun than playing computer games. And the story goes on. And then I studied computer science at the Bowling Green, actually at the University of Salzburg, but also then at the Bowling Green State University in Ohio. And got a master in computer science, started to work. And I did actually, I followed this corporate path like many. So I worked for a consulting company, I worked for Sony, but also at the same time, like many like many other professionals, I noticed that startups, I learned the concept of startups, and I thought, wow, this would be really cool to have actually also a company. And I always thought of doing things, had lots of ideas, and then actually in 2009, I founded my first startup, which was called Wikitude, an augmented reality uh, um, browser. We called it. It was actually the world's first augmented reality app at that time that brought this concept to mobile. And then this I can actually tell them during the podcast, of course, more about this. But the company developed really well and was then acquired by Qualcomm in 2021. And since then, I am I'm having new ideas and develop new projects, and I'm since then actually I'm still a very really passionate software developer, even so that I got a business degree recently. I also went back to school, did an MBA. It was also really exciting. I can recommend this to actually any technical person to maybe at some point get another degree, maybe in business, and suddenly it all adds up together, because suddenly you're not the person who is kind of doing stuff, but other people having the big vision. Suddenly you see that actually you can do this also really well. The business part of it. So this was a quick introduction about myself.
Very interesting. So before you had a very long history of being an engineer, more technical person, and recently you went back to school to learn business degree. It's interesting because right now, like a AI, right? A lot of people said that degree is not worth it. So as far as I know, because I am also teaching at community college, and a lot of students, or somehow I think the concept switch, and I saw some articles like a WSJ Wall Street Journal. They said that a lot of college students feels like, oh, what's the point of learning all this? They go to like the more like a blue belt job, like more like a worker. And you mentioned you recommend every technical person, if it's allowed, time is allowed, or like a budget is allowed, you encourage them to learn like something different, or business. What did you learn from your business degree? I'm just very curious because I remember like a couple of people, they mentioned that MBA, maybe it's Elon Musk, I don't know. Like he said that, oh, MBA is like useless. I mean, it's not like I'm not saying you or something, but it's just very interesting. You propose different aspect, and I believe people think that degree is useless. Usually, are the people who didn't have it. So, so I want to ask you, like, what's your thought? Because it's your thought is very it used to be the mainstream, but now it's not really the mainstream, especially here. It seems like the interesting thing is that a lot of high school right now, they are having a lot of boot camp for the job, for the career. And I was like, wow, you are just high school. And I remember one person reached out to me on LinkedIn and say, "Oh, my daughter is just like a middle school and enter to high school. She wanna learn art, but she's worried about the in the future the career." And I was like, "Your daughter is just middle school to high school and is worried about like not really following your passion, but worry about the job." And it starts in Silicon Valley or in California. It starts in high school. And I can tell you, I teach some community college, or the kids around here. It's like their parents are over worried, and everything is career driven. So, what do you see the business degree can really help, and what did you learn from your degree?
Yes, and of course. Now I believe it's really important. So not only because you learn the tools, you need to learn to know the tools to be successful in the business world, but also you learn a little bit the scope. What is it all about? Yeah, and maybe this is the even more important thing that you learn. So because you're getting an overview, and now oh, that's it. I mean, you can expand in many areas. Of course, knowledge is indefinite. Yeah, it's because you can really you can never stop learning. But still, within a business degree, you kind of see where the boundaries are. Kind of the tools. You might not remember everything, of course, but this feels already much better when you then are in a setting and you in a real business setting, and you kind of know what's going on, and also what you not know. Yeah, this is also really important. And from then on, you can operate freely. Also where to look for resources. If there's something that you don't understand so well, if you kind of hear about a new idea, yeah, you know where to get information. But overall, it's kind of you feel much more secure when you know kind of what's going on. And I think this is not only for business. This is also for I think for any kind of subject.
Very interesting, because for me, recently I actually enrolled in like an online master degree, which is like a very chill. But now I'm in like I'm writing my research proposal, and I'm like doing like I review all the kind of like more like a learning instructional design XR, and how XR helping the engagement in the class. So it's very interesting. Like before, I didn't see things in the way, because I usually like read news every morning. So my knowledge is more like here and there, and there's no pattern on the background. And I think for the master degree, for me, is more like seeing the things. It's not on the surface, but on the pattern. More like just like you said, that what's going on,
Exactly.
the whole thing. For me, I understand that maybe, my professors might be, it's interesting that academic people, they tend to like to study the pattern. However, the people who always like, after graduate from my bachelor degree, I immediately work. So when I am very good at tools, and learning the tools, so execution is kind of like for me, it's like my realm. But for me, how to explain to people in a systematic way, and why things need to be like doing this, like talk like I'm very smart, types of things. I think a master really helps me to organize my thoughts. And even though it's like a torture to read all those like a very academic paper research, but I think that really helps me to communicate more efficient.
Okay, maybe there's also some other things that I think that I can add. So when I did my thesis,
Mm.
my MBA
Oh, what's your
thesis,
thesis?
it was actually regarding CarPlay and Android Auto for motorcycles.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and I wanted to research. I mean, I'm a fan of Android Auto and uh, and CarPlay, but they didn't exist for motorcycles, and I was kind of wondering why is this? Do motorcycle riders actually like this or not, and so on. And actually, when I did this thesis, I had to, of course, read marketing books and also had to learn how to do a survey
Yeah,
and
right, right.
these kind of
I'm doing my
things.
like a research method, and there are a lot of
Exactly,
method, and it was like wow, like
exactly.
really dive into that the core of research. Yeah.
Yeah, and initially when I read those books, I really did not understand the word because
Same here.
I was so I mean I was just a programmer more or less, yeah,
Mm,
and suddenly I had to really focus on such a business topic and understand how these people think,
mm,
and it was really I had a hard time reading these things,
mm,
but after a while
mm.
I got it, yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Same here. Yeah.
and then I used the conjoint
Mm,
analysis.
mm,
Is it called conjoint analysis? Yeah, this is a survey technique,
mm.
and yeah, and after also I'm more execution guy, maybe just like you. I'm
Yeah,
a tools guy,
yeah. I
tools.
told my teacher first meeting, and I said, "Wow, because I'm writing research proposal, and for me, I'm not a permissive person. Like if I wanna do something, I just do it. Why? If I wanna do a research, I just do it. Why should I write a proposal and get approval to do the research? Why not just do the research itself? Why am I
Okay.
doing so many steps?"
Mm. But then when I actually got the software for this
Mhm,
conjoint analysis, put in some data, tried it out myself, so
mhm.
suddenly it made sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how they, you have a product, you have the features, and you create a survey, and people can weight the features, and then you kind of look how the results come into being,
Mm.
and suddenly it actually really made sense to me. And this is maybe as a technical person, the good thing about writing software is that mostly you immediately know if it works or not. You
Mm.
just run the software, and if the result is right,
Yeah.
then usually it is right. Of
Yeah.
course, there can be some deeper problems, but
Yeah. There's a
usually
correct answer to
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you have something working, you can make changes,
Mm,
yeah, improve it,
mm,
and test it again. And if
mm,
it's working,
mm,
yeah, you keep on going. If it doesn't work, you go back one step.
mm,
Yeah. So this is actually the good part about programming. So
mm.
in business, it's not so easy. Yeah, it's not so easy to
Yeah.
see if something is right or wrong. But anyway, tools always help to understand the concepts.
Yeah. I think the different things about tools and business, it's very different. Is that business? It seems like there are a lot of vague stuff,
Mhm.
and you are determining things that you are not very sure, and it's like a very vague, but when doing things there's a scope of work, and you know what's being
Mhm.
done, and you know exactly what to do once the scope of work is being defined. It's pretty fairly easy, but I think for business it's more like you are sailing on the sea, and the campus, right? And you need to figure out where to go. And yeah, so I think it's really good to have like some guidance. And yeah, I remember I watched a video is from YC, like a startup. They have a lot of free videos. I didn't learn business, but everything that I learned is like I mean I have like a XReality. It's pretty much something that I just testing things out, and I learn from my mistakes. I did one like a platform. It didn't work, but I learned much more than everything else, like a boot camp or like a tutorial events. I think a failure startup experience worth a lot. I think the best advice is that talk to the user. talk to the user. It's like if you don't know what to do, talk to the user. It's like we want to create a product that user wants. So that's ever since the first one was not working, and second one, I don't know, like whatever. Like right now for me, whatever I think is that what's the problem? How can I solve the problem for you? That's the thing that I learned from my first mistake. Is just like talk to the user, solve user problem, do the product that user wants. That's my learning.
Okay. No, but I think this talking to the user only works with incremental improvements, not for the real big things.
Oh.
Not for the real big invention. And do you know the story with Henry Ford?
Oh, I see. It's more like people ask him like want a faster horse, but at
Yes,
the end
exactly.
he designed a car. So what?
Exactly.
Because the interesting thing, yeah, in startup world is also two. One is like a design the things solve people's problem. The other thing is to reinvent the wheel and create things that people didn't imagine it, but you solve another bigger problem. How do you weigh those two? It's a hard question.
No, of course, it's really difficult. It's easier, of course, to talk to the user. What do you want, and maybe ask the right questions, and already give them a lead. Yeah. So, but of course, the really interesting developments are the ones that people didn't expect, they didn't ask for it. If you create a product and give it to somebody who didn't ask for it and he's happy with the product, this is of course the really cool thing that most inventors are looking for. This is in disruptive innovation.
Yeah. And normally, yeah,
both is okay. So you don't have to, because the failure rate is much higher with those things that nobody needs.
Oh, the interesting thing is that I mean I understand that and sometimes we would fall into kind of like a false hypothesis that we design the things that we like because of that concept. So that's why I remember my first startup. I designed a platform very similar to Udemy, right? Like, oh, people upload their course and then I spend all my savings and just like figure things out. But for me right now is like before I reinvent the wheel and compete with really big player, right? Like Coursera, all those like a big player. Later on when I step back, I think that I should ask the user whether they want it or not, because it's so obvious that reinvent the entire platform. It's like and it feels like it's not really meet the user needs. So that's why I step back and I was like learning and start reflecting. So what do you think about like doing your own thing, design your own product versus this is what people want and you reinvent it? Those two are very different. Yeah, it's like it's like either you do too much, follow your instinct, or what's the sweet spot?
Yeah, I think with those obvious, more or less obvious ideas that people might need. So I often had this experience that I had an idea, then did some little research, and then I thought there's tons of stuff around it. Yeah, so mostly it is like this, that you're not the only one who has an idea, and the more obvious it is, the more people are doing it. But I was also always a little bit like this. If there was some event, and it often happens like this, there is an event, there is some big topic, like I don't know if it is like crypto, if it is something, usually the whole crowd goes in one direction. And then I prefer really the other direction, to really go somewhere where maybe a direction which is not obvious, but the chances are higher that you end up somewhere with a really new idea. So this is just some thought that I often had. So rather than doing what everybody is doing, I rather go in the other direction.
Very
I mean,
interesting.
it can I wouldn't really invest like all my life in it. Of course, you have to be careful with such things, but I think the chances are that you end up with a new, unique approach to some problem is higher. It can, of course, fail as well, like everything else. So there's no guarantee.
Yeah, I think a first time startup founder versus second time or third time is very different. Is that the first time usually I remember few years ago I was so stubborn and everybody told me it's not working or something and I just don't listen. I believe that I was right. However, ever since I stepped back, I was like, oh, actually I know what's going on. I have to talk to the user. So before I was like, yeah, I want to create the coolest stuff and I integrate something put this API, put this all together and mixing up and make something. However, right now I'm more like a step back. I know there are two, like one is like a reinvent the wheel and like a Steve Jobs, like doing great things. And the other one is more like a solving the current problems that people have. I think I'm tend to the second one. The long time ago for me, I was the first one. Everybody said that, oh, you need to talk to the user. And I said, no, I want to, like Steve Jobs. And people usually said that Steve Jobs is just 1% of the popularity. It's the chance is very rare. Why not? There are so many problems in the world. Why not solve them? So that's my thought from the very entrepreneur, like crazy one, to more like a more trying to solve the actual problem. Yeah.
Exactly. No, but talking to the user is definitely okay. Yeah. So only if you don't get an answer, it's not a bad sign. Yeah. Maybe they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
just another thought that I had. I also was presenting in front of students and talked about some of my startup like Wikitude and how I did it and so on and then the question came how difficult I think it is to make a successful startup. And since I didn't have so many failures at that point, I couldn't really. I'm still actually a rather optimistic person that things usually things can work out. Yeah, even if we all know that the success rate of startups is like very low.
Yeah.
But my thought was kind of there's so many new tools, technology is moving so fast. You can really, I mean, there are thousands of new programming languages, tools, software packages, and if you pick one of those, you're immediately in a smaller group of people that are using this kind of thing. So even though there are millions of talented people or millions of developers, if you pick already some kind of a niche or some kind of tools, you're immediately among a smaller group, and then and if you are lucky and your idea of how to use this tool is good, there is a chance, and the overall tool is good, there is a chance that this becomes going. And actually I did similar things like this. So if you find some software, they have an API, you put in really some work, you have a cool showcase, the chance are that you are invited at the next hackathon or the next event that this company is organizing. The chances are that they invite you and you can present this on stage is pretty high, I would say. Yeah. So if you're talented, you have your idea, you pick your niche product. I think it's like 50% or so. So I know from all those organizations, all those companies, whatever, if they maybe with Google and the really big ones is different, but if they organize something like this, there are not so many people are handing in good stuff. There are maybe 10, 20 good applications. So I would kind of, so I think that this is a doable way of getting something going in some kind of market, learning something.
Yeah.
And then possibly, possibly it works out. Possibly you meet someone, they have another idea, you add it, you have your little company that does software for a bigger player, which is already the perfect way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that, you just put yourself out there, right? You start.
Exactly.
I think sometimes the one small idea, and at the end result will be different. Like your initial idea, and at the end, whatever you build, sometimes it's very different when more people join in and more like ideas sparkling together. So the interesting for me to, my path is more like I come up with an idea and it's just like out of nowhere, and I start like talking to people, right? And then it will start forge, and become something that at the beginning I was like, no, that's not my direction. But at the end, I feel like my personality after, being more like a founder. Before I was more stubborn, but now I feel like I'm pretty flexible and pretty like to listen. And I usually told myself, sometimes I disagree with something, but I usually tell myself, maybe I was wrong. It's just like, this really helped me. Yeah, this helped me to adjust myself, because sometimes I think for creating the product that people likes, just like you said, that there are so many apps out there, and I have the same thoughts as you. I call those digital trash. It's like those stuff has great design, great branding, great UX UI, perfect. If you download those apps, it's really good. But why people don't use it? Because there's no need. So I step back. It's like, yeah, like what people needs, right? So I think that people needs is more like the campus of the startup, or just like you said, maybe you see the pattern and you are lifting up in a higher level. For you are more like a serial entrepreneur, and for me it's more like I failed one time and I learned all my failure, and I become the person who is a little bit opposite of my previous self. So it's very interesting. And I think you are more high there, so you see the big pattern and you want to create a unique idea. And for me it's more like I know what's going on, but I'm like a slowly move towards that goal, probably not really sure and not bold enough to to be like the all self, like a stubborn, like this is the right way, let's do it.
Okay, maybe something what I can add here. So I must say that I was very lucky, with my developments. I can maybe talk about this then later. But so what helps a lot as a founder, if you can do many different things, and if you can build, if you have an idea and you can build most of it on your own, and maybe with a friend, so that you don't have the hassle of finding the right people early on, and this helped me a lot. So if you know how to code, and then mostly my stuff is in software. If you know how to do this, and then have some little graphical feeling, and also some, and if really important is that you dare to go out, as you said before, so you because many people, they might be good coders, but they don't dare to go on stage and say, "Now this is it now. Look." and I can do this as well. So I'm not really afraid of something.
mm,
And and also actually recently I read some other traits that you need to have, and I kind of found myself in there. So one is the passion, yeah, that you
mm,
have the passion for
mm,
innovation for some kind of area.
mm,
Then another one is persistence. Yeah,
mm,
so you need to, even though it doesn't really work right now, you
mm,
still think of what else could I do? Yeah, or
mm,
you have something, you see some competitor is coming up, he's much better
mm,
than you are. So how you react? Yeah, so
mm,
so I had this also a lot. So I
mm,
mean, just a quick example.
mm,
So at some point we had our Wiki2 software SDK,
mm,
and suddenly we heard that we read about Google announcing some developer kit, Apple developing a developer kit. So of course, and you kind of think so. Now it's kind of our road is ending
mm,
when the really big players are doing the same thing.
mm,
But then, so usually with me, it's like, of course, you might be down at the initial thought when you see kind of, oh, there is, so you are losing maybe. But
mm,
I have this capability of just even in unconsciously, I kind of keep on thinking, and the next day, I found I find where could be our niche. Yeah. So
mm,
how can we be different than these guys and that guys, and how
mm,
can we still persist?
mm,
Yeah. So this is the persistence, and then you need to be curious.
mm,
Uh, so curious. So does it need to be like so? Anything in on this world, does it need to be like this, or is there a better way of doing it? Yeah. So
mm,
curious, then being a self-starter, so that you
mm,
really kind of, this is not my list, I just read this somewhere,
mm,
and I thought this is kind of good. So yeah, so you have an idea, you do some research, you try things out, do some little experiments,
mm,
you see, you have a problem, and
mm,
then you start on what is the next step for me to kind of
mm,
learn more about the problem.
mm,
And the last one is to be a risk taker, to be, so this also I think is important, that you kind of you're not really afraid to take some risks. So I wouldn't
mm,
really invest a lot of money. This doesn't mean that you really go in and but it's still, so to even do something that where other people might say, no, I rather watch TV or do something else.
mm,
That
mm.
you really so think, oh, I spend my time, I invest my time. Actually
Yeah,
invest is
right.
also already can be a great risk because you could do other things. Yeah, so these are things that these are some kind of skills that I think someone needs to do something. And as I said,
Yeah.
I think it's really possible. Yeah, if you maybe follow a niche, and
Mm.
especially with all these new technologies that are there, as I said before, and now it's even AI. Yeah, you can put
Yeah, yeah. AI can,
AI on everything,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
amazing.
that there are really revolutions happening, and you and anybody could be the first one finding a new way to do stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree because I think that you are more like at the high level because you've already seen the entire industry and you are in this field very long time. So you can see what probably works. You can see like a more like high level pattern. I think for me I think I'm in the middle. I'm more like a um this might work. Let's try it. And just like a pushing a little bit and as a lot of people. And the interesting thing is that the more people that I contact, the more people that I talk. And the reason why I have my podcast is also because I like to meet people. And sometimes, I'm in my room and it's like thinking something, but it's very limited to my knowledge. But when I talk to
Mhm.
somebody, it always leads to some different thoughts. So I like the openness. So I think it's very interesting that for me, I think you have the confidence of like that is the way to go, right? For me, it's more like maybe because the first time fail and second time more like let's try a little bit, let's do a little bit, let's ask other people's thoughts, and let's move around and testing things out. And also I'm talking to more people, reading more articles to build up the pattern, or because I think a human repeats the history. So if I accumulate enough pattern and history, I can be more like a you know, you can see the overall big picture. So that's me right now. I'm still building the pattern system in my brain.
Okay, so what I also must say, I don't really see the really big picture. I mean, there are other people who see it much better. So I do it. I have some ideas. I I try things out, and it might work or not, but it's not. So failure is not a bad thing. You know?
Yeah, I learned
It's-
so much because I joined a couple of like a workshop, boot camp, all those like a stuff, like a free one or like a low paying one. I joined everything. And I still feel like, you know, theory on the paper or theory from somebody else talk is
Mhm.
I treat it as paying a tuition for my learning, for my MBA or something. Yeah, I think now I have more clear thoughts about um, more like why people looking for metrics, why people looking for some certain weird things. And when I refer back to my first time and I realized that, oh, those metrics didn't go up, right? For example, like after my platform launch, I only have 4 paid user, and one of it canceled after 2 months or 3 months and wrote a very long email and say how bad this was, this one, that one, it didn't work, da 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 da. And later on, I start thinking about, yeah, like there are a lot of big players. Why am I competing with those big players and I don't have that resource related to that? So that's why I started thinking about, is there anything that is smaller that I can help and with in not like a, you know, the whole thing, but just a small piece or more like a niche stuff that I can help. So I'm more like a more strategic and more thinking about user ever since that. Otherwise, I just do my own thing.
Okay. And I also just thought so being maybe not the really, also having really big competitors is not such a bad thing if you somehow can keep up with them.
Mm,
It shows more that that you are really in a hot area, apparently. And at some time, there will be some consolidation, and also some other companies will find out, oh, there is an interesting area where we should do something. And then if you are a small startup that has a good enough solution, so often it happens that actually these small ones are then acquired by the bigger ones
I
just
think a
to catch up with the other bigger ones.
small niche is better than big in general. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yes, also.
for the small startup with very limited resource. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, we talk a lot about like your degree and the development and founder journey. Yeah. So what do you think of like when augmented reality meets AI? Right. So you mentioned a lot about like your kind of previous kind of idea, previous funding company, and also your recent one that just launched on the you know, like a platform, mobile platform, and it was very successful. So do you want to talk about like your app and also like the train with XR AI? Yeah, it's a big topic.
Okay. Now, first of all, I have to say that even though that I founded Wikitude, it was 2009. The team then grew, and we got investment and so on, and then actually the investors brought in a new CEO because also at that time it was not. They knew that I'm not a business person, so I'm really good in showing that this works. Really have an idea, make a prototype, and then actually I was among the top 50 in the first Google Android Developer Challenge.
Wow.
And this kind of was the reason why it then picked up early, because it was really WikiTid was one of the first apps in the Google Play Store, and yeah, so I can really build stuff that where people don't even think that this would work. So this was basically my skill. But then when Martin Herleder came into the company, he became the CEO of Wikitude. Then the real growth. So even though we had a huge install base and it was featured in the New York Times, in the Economist, and so on, but then the real to build really a business, to have some income, and so on. This was all done by Martin Herleder, I must say. So I was lucky to get a CEO on board who knows how to talk to the big guys, and we talked to everybody. Yeah, we talked to really a lot of huge companies, and Martin was really the one who I always admired this of him, so that he can really talk to those people, to those really big companies, and then come back with what we do. Yeah, he was the deal maker that we needed, and that's why I must say I was really lucky to get a person like this on board who made the business really big, and the reason that it was then acquired by Qualcomm in 2021 was really, I must say, yeah, done by him, and this is really great. So I really must say that, even so that I'm the founder, and I'm the founder kind of person, to make it really big and to make a monetization model working is really the completely different skill. And I was lucky to have him on board, and all the other people that were then on the Wikitude team. And then your question was regarding XR and AI. And actually, when we developed Wikitude at that time, there was no AI, maybe very little AI. And then AI, of course, it's obvious that you can do much more things. Yeah, when you really have when you're using computer vision. Yeah, and maybe among other things that you. So what we did early on was simply using GPS and the compass, and if you know where you are and you know in the direction that you're looking at, you can kind of what's in this direction if you have a map and if you have the data, and then we displayed it on screen. So this is basically what we did. But if you are able to analyze what's on your screen and how people are moving, yeah, if you have computer vision, if you see how the objects are actually moving, if you can track the objects, you can even do much more. So this is why also in the AVE conference, in the Augmented World Expo conference that is organized by INPA, and which is in LA and Vienna and Singapore. So recently he also connected those two technologies. He also said not anymore AR, more like XR, because they also combined the virtual reality and the augmented reality, because it's also obvious these are very similar technologies, but also with AI, because it just makes everything much more powerful. And here I have actually a pair of
Snapchat spectacle.
Exactly, yeah. This is the developer version, and it's really exciting to work with. Also try things out, and I'm also trying to have it. Yes, this is actually such an example. Yeah, if you are a developer, if you want to build something new and maybe get some exposure, build something for classes like this. Yeah, so and there are events, there are programming events. Snap is organizing developer days, I believe in September or so, and you can showcase your product. So I don't want to say it's so easy to really be successful, but if you sometimes it also helps if you bring some, if you have already some talent, like music, arts, cocktail mixing, whatever. And then this technology comes along and you see a match, yeah, how you can build an app that some kind of a product that becomes much more user friendly with such classes, because the whole industry is looking for those killer use cases. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
there
I
are now
totally agree. Yeah.
there are now these technical capabilities that you can, that you have in classes, you can overlay it with artificial with content, match it with the environment, and if you have an idea that makes use of this, they, like in this case, like Snap, they'll publish it. Yeah, they also want to
Yeah.
see that people are using these technologies. That's why I see it's not like so impossible to
Yeah.
something. So if you kind of know, if you still need to be lucky that the right things come together, but but it's possible. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
these classes, if you have an idea, if you have some background, some
Yeah.
interesting background, that kind of, and if all this adds up, you'll be on stage at the next Spectacles Developer Conference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is
And
kind of my take on it.
I think, for example, like Orion, right? People keep saying like Orion, but I think Snapchat just like launch spectacles. And I always see a lot of like my LinkedIn posts. A lot of people start using spectacle. And also, I think the hand gesture, I don't have it, but I might have one and just for fun. Yeah. And I think just like you said, the killing app is very important because you see like why, like, a lot of people use LASIK to get out. I used to wear heavy glass. When I
Mhm.
was in elementary school, I was like born in like a low vision or something. But I kind of like do the LASIK things, so I can get rid of glass. And you need to give the app. You need to make that glass so important to people that people want to wear. So
Mhm.
yeah, for example, when I eat noodles, right? And it's all fog, right? It's not really convenient to wear a glass. So that glass needs to be like, there must be a killing app. And I think that like a training, right? Education, those might be more like a good scenario. For example, like a visualization of some people's curriculum. Um, yeah, I think that those a lot of interesting stuff. I can see the merging, and also the like right now I'm writing like a research proposal for my master. It's about how XR can help biology class uh, uh, to increase the like a students' knowledge retention and engagement. So it's very interesting to see like how the current traditional one, that because you see like the lab, right, and safety issue and a lot of equipment, people doesn't even have those equipment. So how can
Mhm.
XR help those types of like for example STEAM types of curriculum? I think if we add like the current problem and the context in, I think the creator, it's easy for creator to just oversee the problem, and then working closely with the professor, right? Subject matter experts to create a fun and meeting the students' learning objectives. So yeah, I think that's also one of the scenarios.
Mhm. Yeah, but I couldn't really. So nobody really knows what's going to be the big killer app,
Hmm.
and and this classroom scenario sounds doable. The only thing I think is the problem. Of course, you need then 20 spectacles,
Hmm.
and you need to put the content in. So this is already difficult. You might get some funding
And
because
yeah, and you need the management, because when students wear the headset, it's like a bag of cat. They're running around. you don't know what's inside there. They might doing something else. So you need like a
Exactly.
management system that teacher can see what each student doing and also have a content control for make sure everybody's seeing the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I also don't know. So these classes are super,
Hmm.
but the industry, as I see it, is also still searching for the real big thing. And you know what happened with the Apple Vision Pro? So really everybody thought, wow, this is the new big thing.
Yeah,
And
but unfortunately, I
so
feel like I think a lot of people complain about Apple is not really supporting the developer. What do you see why Apple is not dominant this area?
yeah, so now this is a very, very interesting question. So because they waited, you know, the Apple is usually
Oh
the
yeah, I think
follower.
because they are waiting, it's like a professionist. I remember because I joined Apple's workshop in person before it
Mhm.
officially released. It has like a 5 in-person workshop in Cupertino, and I live in Bay Area. I join every month. I went there. I just want to see what's there, and I have a lot of questions. So
Mhm.
5 times I went there. I think the maximum is 5 times. So I went there, and I remember the word that the developer and the manager evangelist they say the most is we are perfect. I think the
Mhm.
perfectionist the killing is killing Apple because they are afraid of putting something that is not perfect, so they keep delaying. It's
Mhm.
postpone. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think it's super that they did this and they and maybe for the very first version it was too expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah, also. And and I hope that they are going to release another version so that they keep going. Yeah,
Hmm.
so and they don't kind of turn this initiative off. I don't know, but it's an interesting example that even Apple, with such a good history of creating killer products,
Hmm.
that they at this time they it was not so successful. Let's say it like this. It was not a. It's not. I never really, actually, I never really wore one. I must be honest. I was at the other conference. I could have worn one, but then yeah, I also didn't have my contacts in there at this moment. So, but I was very interested in it. I just thought it's interesting that it also didn't work out the way everybody thought it works out.
Yeah.
But but possibly with the next release, with the smaller version, hopefully they launch one. It will be different. It just showed me again that this is really a really tough area, even so it sounds so obvious. You have to extend your vision with some glasses. Um, so far it didn't really pick up, and and I believe with these ones,
Hmm.
uh, so the consumer version that's going to be launched next year in
Oh.
2026,
Hmm. Very
as we
similar to
read
Orion.
recently,
Yeah, Orion. Yeah.
should will be smaller and so on. So I believe that this is the right way to go, and then there will be apps and consumers really buying them and using those classes, and we will all be surprised what's possible with this.
Mm.
And it could be some kind of really an extension to the phone. And some people even say that it will be the next big thing. Yeah, and yeah, I also read that people who there's somebody who uses the Facebook glasses. Yeah, Facebook.
Orion. Yeah. Or like
Is
a
it
Ray-Ban.
Ryan? Yeah,
I
yeah,
usually wear Ray-Ban to walk my dog because I listen to it's more audio enhanced, right? And also
okay.
AI. So I usually just walk my dog. And sometimes when I see interesting stuff, I would record a picture, record a
Uh-huh.
video. Yeah, and also listen to the audiobook.
Yes. Now, I read that somebody who also uses them regularly, he says, "Wow, this is really it." So it's really possible that within the next 1 or 2 years,
Hmm.
it's obvious, and everybody will have those classes.
Yeah, and
I think
I
it's the
remember, yeah, a long time ago, I was like working on one of the features when I was working for Meta, and they have translation. So one time, I put a kind of like a Spanish YouTube channel, and I put my glass put on because the translation, the visual part, they hasn't implemented yet. So I need to look at my phone. But it's very interesting that I can hear it and I can see through my phone when it translates from Spanish into English. So I
okay.
think the translation version might be really helpful for example, tourism. I saw one like a Chinese, like a TikTok video that somebody on like a boba store that a foreigner wanna order something and talk to the staff, and one person speak English, the other person speak Chinese, and two of them just speak different language but through that AR glass. I think it's the
Yeah.
Chinese version, and two of them understand each other. It's amazing.
Yeah. So here we have the killer app already. So I think it's definitely going to happen that
Yeah.
these kind of technologies will also will have their breakthrough.
Yeah, and I think it can serve as a AI assistant, such as Android XR. When they announced it, I was impressed by the woman standing. I think it's a TikTok. Yeah, and look up something and say, "Hey, where's my key?" In some point, and the glass told her where she put the key. And also when she was reading a book and she didn't know what's this, and she just immediately asked. I think chatbot really helps us to learn and also revolutionize education a lot. Just because of the ChatGPT, Gen AI, it makes educators start thinking about what can we do? What can we do better? Because lecturing pretty much can be, I don't want to say replace, but AI can do really well. And how can an educator place any place for educator to train me? Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, you mentioned the your app. Do you want to share with us like your new app, the launch,
My,
like Beamster, right?
yeah, my latest development.
Hmm.
Yes. I had the idea of this game already many years ago when I saw my kids playing
Be saber. Or...
play play what?
Oh no, no. Yeah.
No, they were running after each other and they
Hmm.
tried to catch each other,
Hmm.
and but not like the normal one. So they had a phone.
Hmm.
So one of them had a phone, or both had phones, and they tried to take pictures of each other.
Hmm.
And the winner was basically who took a picture of the other person first. So, and I thought, wow, this is actually an interesting idea. And I kept on thinking, so how could I make a game out of this? And just in another side note, it often helps when you develop a new product that you really spend some time thinking about this. Yeah, so in this case, it was in the Wicked case like this, but also in this case that I had this idea, but really years went by until I had the right technology in my hand where I could make this possible. Yeah, and in this case, it was really in the Wicked case, it was the Android phone, which had a camera, which had a GPS, and you could program you do programming to yeah, put place on put content onto the screen. Yeah, and in this game idea, I so the what was needed was some kind of so the most important thing is when you take a picture of a person, the app does need to know who the person is on the picture. Yeah, so it's not like because otherwise you can't really score. You know, if you have like 5 players,
Yeah.
each of them makes pictures of different people. The app needs to recognize the people. So this is the core thing that at that time I didn't know how to do. But then I did some research and actually found, and then actually AI came along
Hmm.
and I did some tests with my own models.
Hmm.
And of course, I also looked what's around on the internet.
Mm.
And then I saw actually that this works pretty well. So I did a simple test. If I have pictures of 20 people, and then if I have of 20 different people, and then I try to search the image of one of those 20 people, and I saw that it works actually pretty accurate, that I find the right person.
Mm.
And so this is the basic stuff that's needed. And the game that I developed then, actually, I made the Android version, and then I asked a friend of mine to develop the iOS version for it.
Mm.
And it's basically, so, initially, it was really just a game where you can take pictures of people,
Mm.
and then it recognizes who you basically photographed, and
Oh.
and you saw scores.
Mm.
But the interesting part of it, so we launched it actually on Android and Google Play and App Store. But this is such a new thing that people don't really know what it is, and it's so difficult to explain.
Mm.
And that's why we then went to explain it like laser tag. Yeah, it's like a laser tagging app, and this is already, people know what it is. Yeah, laser tag, and we made animations. So when I take a picture, you actually see some laser ray
Oh.
going in the direction of the person, and then we recognize the person that is and then we do segmentation. This is another term of computer vision, that you actually know the boundaries where the person is, and that this is how we can actually see that if the laser beam actually hit the person. And then then I can take the real picture of this person and then run it through AI and know who has been hit. So it's basically a laser tagging app. Who knows who needs such an app? But it was, so I'm curious. Yeah, I think it's a fascinating problem. I'm not sure, does it work? And at that time, and then we developed it, me and Roman, my colleague, and you can imagine how cool it was when for the first time the whole thing worked. You press the button, you see like the laser beam, the image was recognized. We see some sparks flying around, and this is actually what I can show now in a little demo. And so this was the initial idea. I never launched a game, and I'm not even a gamer anymore. So I played when I was 14, but not afterwards. But now the fun, yeah. So this was the idea. I developed it without really big expectations, purely because I had fun developing this, and I also see it as a little experiment. Yeah. So can you do something like this? So can I make it happen? Do I find people playing it? And make it short. So we launched the app. We saw very little movements on the server. We also then we actually found some really severe bugs. For example, the first time that we played two games at the same time, two different games at the same time, didn't work at all. So we had to fix this, that you actually can play multiple games. And then I went to a university gaming event. So as I mentioned before, did I mention this, that I study AI now? So also because of this game, and because we have a super master's program close to where I live, actually in Linz, at the Johannes Kepler University, they have an AI study program, so bachelor and master. And just for this game, I need some things. And it really, because of this game, I went to sign up for the masters.
Wow.
I thought I do really the most important courses that I need for it. But meanwhile, I enjoy it so much that I go on with it. Yeah. Meanwhile, I have other courses like computer vision, and even so that I used many of these technologies. But now, as I said, I have this academic overview that makes me feel much better. Yeah. And now I learned the AI part as well, like deep learning and neural networks. But so, and then there was a university gaming event, and I went there, and I actually talked to the organizers, can we play Beamster? And they said
Oh.
yes, fine. And then I thought the most difficult thing is to get those 20 people that we play together. And then, but then it was actually really easy. I got easily 30 people, and we all went to this other building, and then actually the server crashed. So, also because of some technical thing that we never really played with more than 5 people, and so the server really didn't handle this. But this was good that we tried it, because we still made some good videos actually of this event, but with not so many people. But we found the issue why it was not why apparently couldn't handle more than 5 players. It's also fixed now. But then since then I presented it at 2 game dev events, and yeah, so it's really part of this experiment. Can I develop something, show it, and actually we learned and learned, and actually the last one was already so successful that I have people that I talk to on a regular basis. We are now going to do some more. We overhaul the graphical design, do some more branding, because this is something that we didn't care at all initially. It's technically it works, but not it doesn't really look yet good, because we thought we are going to do this anyway at some point. But now, to make it short, so just recently we are getting some traction. Yeah, so we see that every day people are playing this game really around the world, really everywhere. Of course, most of them in the US. Interestingly, in Holland, so they like it also a lot. But really, all over the world, we see people are using it. It's not yet exploding, because we are still a little bit in our test phase. But we reached this point where we thought, oh, this is a desirable product. Yeah, so people are playing it, and from now on we can really incrementally do things. Yeah, so we can improve the graphics, add some more features, and actually now I could show you a little, give you a preview of the latest feature. And here we got also through these discussions at this game dev events, we got the feedback that it should be more exciting if you hit somebody with a laser beam. There should be some more. We had some sparks, but there should be even more. And so we thought we are going to implement a post detection. So post detection means that we can so now we already we detect the segmentation mask. We know already who this person is, but additionally we check kind of the pose of the person, so how the the person is standing, and we can need this first of all to have better scoring, because if you hit a leg, you get less points than if you hit somebody at the shoulder or something. And so this was actually the first thing, but more important even is the visuals. And you can see this, so it looks really good if you see the skeleton basically of a person like flashing. And this is just a visual effect, but I think it looks pretty good. So I can share it. So I share the screen real quick. Yeah. Can I share it? Yes. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
And now I press, yeah, here you see it. So if I press play, have you seen the laser beam real quick?
Wow, this is cool.
Once again, so this is now simply a person, and
wow.
And then you see really the skeleton like flashing.
Yes.
And it's just a visual effect, and we're going to put it into the app maybe in a few days. Maybe it will still take some weeks, because we also need to develop it for iOS, of course. And so it is just some gimmick that makes the game even more exciting. And yeah, so this is all actually I can say at this point. So it's called Beamster, like beam
Mm,
and Beamster. Maybe you can post it in
mm.
a note. It's a
Yeah.
free game and it's fun and it's a little bit an experiment. We we enjoyed a lot actually the development.
Mm,
Also, if one in the audience is an iOS and Android developer and thinks really, wow, this is so cool, I would like to join this project, yeah, to help us to make it even more exciting because we're now really a very small team.
mm,
Also, they can get in contact with me, and it's really fun to produce something and then look at the logs and see that it's actually working, that people are using it. Of course, there's still a long way to profitability. So we don't it's really a fun programming exercise at this point. And but of course we want to develop it in a real game with thousands of users and game passes and everything. So but I think we are going the right direction because this is the
mm,
first game of this kind. Yeah, and it's the category is actually a location-based multiplayer game, so you could
mm.
call it this way.
Yeah.
There is, of course, a difficulty because most game developers they wouldn't do such a game because they wanted to make it as easy as possible
Mm,
for players. So they should be alone at home and they can play the game. So this is the
mm,
normal setting. We make it, our setup is different. You need at least another person
mm,
in your room
mm,
or you play it outside, but you need to play this with friends. This is
mm,
an active game. But again, this is such a niche. We are going the more difficult path,
mm.
but therefore there is less competition. Yeah, this is less frequented. Yeah, and so this is a game area that doesn't really exist yet. So not many games actually require multiple people at the same place, and it's actually also very
Yeah,
good based.
the most closer one I would think is more Pokemon Go, right? Taking your phone and it's more like a location based. I know you are more like a detect the person. Yeah, but I think the most closer one might be Pokemon Go that everybody go outside and then go to different places and kind of shooting all those like fun stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm glad that you say this because this is our, of course, it was very successful, and
Mm.
in a certain sense, this is our. I mean, this is where everybody wants to go, to build such a successful product like Niantic did
Yeah.
with Pokemon Go, and I believe we are kind of related, and just like you said.
Yeah, and I think with the glass, it will be enhanced. For example, using hand gesture, right? And you
Exactly.
can wear it because when you use phone to end versus you wear it and maybe there's a gesture like more like this or some types
Yes.
of gesture and you can just shoot without a device. Yeah, maybe
Exactly.
finger
Yeah.
gesture and you can shoot anybody and wear glass and that glass can be more like a lightweight, like a spectacles glass and you
Mhm.
can running around and shooting people. And I can see this is better than this because when you run, you might tumble, right? When
Mhm.
there's when doing this and you're running around, it's just not really user friendly. And you have
Exactly.
to shoot. Yeah. So, but wearing glass and using hand gesture, I think that might be a good advanced for the game to be
Exactly.
more intuitive. Yeah.
Yes, and with the spectacles, you really then see the laser beams flying around. But this is really so real. You will really feel like being in the
Mm,
game. So I think this is really the next big. Yeah, we are working on this already, actually,
that's
and
great.
to have the spectacles integrated and yeah. But I also wanted to say that we really we call it a laser tag game so that it's really a game and we avoid the like the terms shooting and so on because we don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
create a violent game. It should still be a
Yeah, I think
fun
for kids, right? Because
game.
America, there are a lot of shooting things in high
Oh no,
school, so
horrible.
you know.
No, we don't want to be associated with this. It
Yeah.
should really be At most,
Mm.
as I said, a laser tag
Mm.
game, and people are sending lasers, or maybe hide and seek, and
Oh, hide and seek. Yeah, I think hide and seek might be
sending laser
fun.
beams at
Yeah,
each
I
other.
think those will absolutely like enhance more like a playful playground and make people feel more
Yeah,
exciting,
that,
enhanced by a additional layer of reality.
exactly. But again, this is such an example. It's not the most obvious thing. Yeah, so
Mm.
maybe if somebody's only goal is to create a unicorn, they would do maybe something different. Yeah,
Mm.
and I think it's often better to go a little bit a different route,
Mm.
and trust maybe that you are discovering something new
Mm.
that brings it then back, and makes it unique and desirable, and it become a hit game. So
Yeah.
without initially like, this is my plan. So I'm
Mm.
sure that like when Minecraft was launched,
Mm.
I think they also didn't, they made those boxy graphics.
Yeah.
So it was really pure luck that apparently this kind of game was then suddenly became unique, because all the other games tried to be as realistic as possible. So
Mm.
maybe it's a similar example. You have to not
Mm.
only run where everybody is running, try something a little bit different, but then be more unique.
Mm.
This is somehow my advice.
Yeah, I think what you say is very interesting, and you start with your kids, right, and playing around and like a hide and seek or like a catch
Yes.
me if you win or something if you can.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, so those types of games start with like there's a user and having fun and start having some kind of like a oh it's not you start coming up with a better idea, a better solution, and you bring this idea to the university, and people play it, and people have fun, and you start growing from there. And now you are using like the new technology and deploy that and growing it. Yeah.
Yes, and if you now you've seen only a little snippet, but if you really see a gameplay movie,
Hmm.
this is like Counter-Strike in real life. So it's really, really, I would say it's exciting. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it's, and you can do it, you can of course try to make it more playful,
Hmm.
but simply when you look at the action,
Hmm.
it's like one of those really super games that are
Hmm.
of course contained to your PC,
Hmm.
but it's in reality, and this is the really cool stuff about it.
I remember a few years ago I was helping out like a Walmart to create to use like a Niantic system to create like a mobile game. And it's very similar to your game, but it's like a laser shooting. And they are putting because it's Niantic, so that's why we when I was designing like the flow, I was designing like for example, like a like a Pokemon Go, they have gym, right? Everybody gather together and trying to battle. So, um, uh, I was a few years ago. The screen was like everybody take a phone and doing laser and shoot, and people gather together and trying to catch each other, and the winner will get like a shoes from Walmart.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, and then also you can get digital twin because the interesting thing is that everybody has technology, but nobody knows how to pull things together and make everybody want to play. So that was one like my ideas, and the other idea was like more like a dog walker. So for example, you walk your dog, right, and then you want to use AI, right? The phone. We are just trying to pull all the technology together, and you aim a tree, you aim something you don't know, and you can see something, and you can take a photo for your dog, and the shop will show up like oh the virtual try for your dog. You can buy it, and also it is more like a dog lover. Download that app. And sync your account to Walmart, and there are a lot of interesting enhancement, and also your neighbors or people who walk dog, and there's leaderboard, and then also you can purchase stuff and take photos, AR photos for your friend. I don't know whether I don't think those are killing app, because after I delivered it, I didn't I didn't know what's going on next. But yeah, I think your game is very simple and definitely spot on, and people find joy for it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. So nobody knows, and but it's really fun to develop it. It's still it's really exciting, and I'm really glad that I'm doing it together with my colleague. So we really have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that you feel excited, you feel fun, and you feel like you are doing something that really, really helps other people, and bring people joy, right? I think bring people joy is also like I think the meaning of life is to, being, I feel like the meaning of life is more like how can you enjoy the process? Because there's no real meaning of life. The interesting thing for me is more like how can I kind of like get through life, and then yeah, like find joy between each moment.
Exactly. You're living, I just read recently, you're living at the intersection of past and future.
Yeah,
There's just a little line,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and that you enjoy this time being there. And actually,
yeah.
what you just said is so since it is a multiplayer game, it really brings people together. So this is
Mm,
our good way of describing it.
mm,
When if we do anything for society,
mm,
but we really think that people are really lonely at home and they play these games these normal games because they
mm,
are maybe lonely.
mm,
But with our game, you need somebody else. Yeah, you can
mm,
play it together. So I think this is really one of the advantages, and people really need this kind of things. Yeah, this
mm.
interaction. It's physical,
Yeah, I
and
think
do
physically
some
go
do
out
some
and walk around is very important.
exactly and play outside, and
Yeah.
just meet other people. This is also really important.
Yeah, yeah. And also I think like your game really brings everybody together and also utilize what you learned, and you feel happy. So I think, like bring everything together. I think that's like the best thing in life is that do what you like, right? And do what people needs, right? And do what you are very good at. So I think you pretty much pull everything together and enjoy and keep building it. I think this is like a amazing career path.
Oh, thank you. But it's really this is some of the things that this is actually needed to
Hmm.
yeah to be successful if this is going to be successful. But so you really need to put in some effort and
Hmm.
be able to go on and
Yeah.
do something for a year or two. Yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
that these
Yeah. It's
ideas
not like as
come to
easy as
life
you
like this
say,
and
right?
show it and everything is working. Usually you from from the uh, first line of code
Hmm.
to an
Yeah.
MVP usually
Yeah.
takes some time and lots of testing. I don't even know how many hours I put in, but usually it's like that. So it's a
Yeah.
good products don't come to life overnight. Maybe if
Yeah.
you're really, really lucky, if
Hmm.
the area where you work with is really new, maybe
Hmm.
then it really happens. But usually you have to spend some time doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree, and I think right now everybody, because I have a lot of audience, they are more like a college student, right? So a lot
Mhm.
of college students, I think people are start like thinking about, wow, AI take it over my job. What can I do in the future? And I think just like you said that, for example, like find your passion and maybe join hackathon if you are a creator, right? And learn a lot of different tools and be flexible and really get into and observe what people needs and take time and build the MVP and test it out. Yeah, I think that's
Yes.
like the path to to get a product that people needs. Yeah.
Exactly. I would also would say it like this. And even if those entry-level jobs are getting away because of AI,
Yeah.
as we read, if you then get a job, you might start already higher and you will be already more productive because of AI.
Yeah,
So
right.
yes, you will do immediately more, usually, hopefully. And
Yeah.
but really, as you said, I also would say that find your niche. And if I was a recruiter, I think it's interesting if somebody knows some tool and developed some kind of expertise in some area. I think this is really, really, really good to hear as a recruiter. Yeah, if people take the effort, if they're not like blank, I have a diploma but I have
Yeah.
never anything. But if you really, if there is something that you can do, and there are so many interesting apps and frameworks and so out there. And especially now, once I come back to the spectacles, this is just such a thing. I mean, I'm sure there are, meanwhile, I don't know, maybe there are 5 or 10,000 or 20,000 developers out there, but not many who are really able to do a good project. So I think this is an area where you can shine. Yeah, if you get some classes, if you know how it works, if you can show some, if you can give some interesting demos. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be a real product. If you know how to do this, you are in demand. Yeah, you will be. People will say, "Hey, please, we have this and this kind of app. Build us a spectacle version for it." So I would say if you are a student, you want to have a job in half a year or so, uh, start with the newest technologies that are out there, and these are definitely the spectacles, and and show what you can do. Spend some time with it. It will take. When you start with a tutorial, usually if you yeah, actually, when I looked at the tutorial, there is not even so much programming required. So I think even you can teach this yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of there's maybe scripting, but still lots of menus, and you check the physics box and so on. So even if you are a complete newbie, I think you can follow the tutorials and programming newbie. I mean, follow the tutorials, and whatever you don't know, you learn it. Yeah, you kind of do some extra tutorial. But I think anybody who is somehow technical versatile will be able to produce some kind of an app and within weeks. And if you find your passion, because this often happens, yeah, that you find something that you like so much that where you can't even stop doing stuff. Yeah. So if you then manage to, and then the product becomes really good. Of course, if you do this, if you work with the spectacles development environment for 10 hours a day because you like it so much, after 30 days, you're really good.
Yeah.
So this would be my recommendation, to not being left behind and have something to show. And actually, if you do this, you can go to any consulting company, I believe, and do an interview, and they might make you an offer simply because you know something that nobody else, where it's very hard to find people.
Yeah, and I think AI is just more like raising up the bar for mediocre, right? Because the entry level right now is raising the bar. So I think if you own your unique domain, that because AI only generates some genetic, like a very general ideas is average. Everything is average out. So if you have your own unique domains, right? I think those will be your unique asset. No matter
Yes.
wherever you go, own the things that is unique that only you have. I think that's kind of like the future. Yeah.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah. And what's the one thing you'd still like to share that we haven't touched on yet?
Oh, actually, there is not so much more. So I would, it's just my new passion towards the spectacle.
New passion.
That's
It's a good
it.
passion.
So I would say this is really my new passion,
Hmm.
and that I talked already about this new game
Hmm.
that I'm developing, and it's just fun to plant something, yeah,
Hmm.
and see how it grows.
Yeah.
And so this is actually already it.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. We release episodes weekly. If you enjoy this conversation, check out our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube. Support us by giving us a follow and a 5-star rating, or subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Thank you and see you next time.